I like to keep it real with all of you. And I just want to say, as we wrap up 2025, that I failed my 2025 goal. If you don't remember what my big goal was for 2025, it was to try to get this old man who was sitting in January at 34.8% body fat all the way down to sub 10%. I never got there. In fact, according to the scale, the closest I got was just under 11%. I'm closing out the year, I'm going to call it at 12%. It was an amazing journey. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, but I never got there. And I like to be upfront and own when I don't succeed, just like I like to celebrate when I do succeed. However, I suspect a lot of you, and maybe a decent portion of you, have 2026 is the year you are going to get healthy. So has somebody who dropped 40 pounds of fat, 40, gained somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds of muscle, I want to give you my list of things to help you be a lot more healthy in 2026. And to me, there's nothing crazy on this list. There are other things you could do if you want to spend money, but here is a list of things that cost nothing. Number one, I want you to track how many steps you are taking a day. And I want you to simply add 2,000. Now, you have undoubtedly heard people talk about 10,000 steps, 12,000 steps. You've probably heard me say that I averaged 20,000 steps for the entire year. I just want you to add 2,000 steps. As again, somebody who dropped 40 pounds, I give about half, about 50% of the credit to simply moving more. I'm not talking about running. I'm not talking about sprinting. If you want to get crazy with this and wear a vest, a weighted vest, you can. But simply move more. Please add 2,000. And if you want to get crazy, add 4,000. You will see the weight fall off by doing nothing else. Number two, this was pretty eye-opening to me. Like I was tracking my steps, I strongly suggest you track your food. You've got to figure out what you're eating. I was shocked by some of the things that I consumed that were a lot more calories and frankly didn't help with macros and things of that nature. Please track your food. And one little caveat to that, please stop drinking your calories. No calorie sodas, no juices, none of this stuff that's full of calories in liquid. It is shocking how many calories you can consume just by drinking. And it should go without saying, cut out or significantly reduce alcohol consumption. Alcohol has calories and your body has to fight to process it. So again, don't drink your calories. If you can, I strongly suggest you lift weights, put your body under stress. This helps with bone density and other things. I am not talking any crazy splits or bro splits, back and buys, chest and tries, none of that. Simply a 30 to 40 minute full body workout with weights is enough. You and I are not 20 years old anymore and made of plastic. We've got to make sure we don't hurt ourselves. We don't have to think about maxing out anymore. Just do reps. And when in doubt, do lighter weight for more reps. This is not about getting 8 to 10 reps. In fact, many times I would do 20 to 25 reps with weights that I could control. It wasn't about trying to impress anybody. It was about doing the work and frankly, not getting injured. Something that was both a mental and a physical thing to try, I strongly suggest you try a 24-hour fast. And if you are up for it, I would try a 72-hour fast. Now, again, I am not a doctor. I'm just somebody who did both of these things in 2025 multiple times. And I could tell you the 72-hour fast is very mental. At least for me, that last 24 hours was crazy every time I have done it, and I've done it multiple times. It's just interesting to see the body reset. Again, you could watch lots of videos on YouTube about the 72-hour fast. Your body cleans up a lot of, dead cells and other things of that nature. So again, if you're looking to get healthy in 2026, I strongly suggest you try a 24 or 72-hour fast, or heaven forbid, both. Now, everything I've talked about here doesn't cost money. One thing I would do is I would get my blood work done. There is certainly cost there. I think as we get older, something that we perhaps don't do, and I certainly didn't do, was get my blood work done to see what's going on in the inside, to see where I'm deficient, to see where I'm struggling, and to see if I can do anything to improve that. So again, folks, I just want to be clear. I never went sub 10% body fat. I failed. But at the end of the day, 2025 will always be the year I remember for getting healthy. And if you want to get healthy in 2026, just follow what we went through. And I wish you nothing but luck on your journey. Because let me tell you, dropping 40 pounds, gaining muscle, you look a lot better. Clothes fit better. It's just a lot more fun and entertaining. And you get to shop for new clothes. That's never a bad thing. So next up, let's get into the daily financial news. Looks like The Economist, a left-leaning magazine for sure, says that the American economy looks set to accelerate in 2026. Folks, don't you remember we just posted something like a 4.3% GDP growth? Looks like tax cuts to the tune of $191 billion will hit consumers. Folks, that is not a tax cut for billionaires. That is not a tax cut for companies. That is tax cut for U.S. consumers. U.S. consumers are going to walk into Q1 getting an extra $1,000 to $2,000, and they will be able to change their withholdings to get more money each and every paycheck. The Economist estimates, again, this is Piper Sandler, estimates that that's going to be $191 billion. But now for the question. What do you think those pesky U.S. consumers are going to do with $191 billion? What do you think? You think they're going to save it? You think they're going to pay off high interest credit cards? No, of course they're not. If we have not learned anything together over 8 years, the majority of that $191 billion will be spent because we are addicted to spending. It is going to happen. In fact, if I were to estimate, I would say 20 to 25% of that number will go to savings or paying down. Most people will just spend it because that's all they know how to do. I do want to congratulate someone who joined school, Stephen. It's going to be interesting. Today's the last day of 2025. How many of you are going to join today? How many of you are going to join today? You said you would. You want to be real estate investors, you want to get wealthy, but for whatever reason, you are holding off. Join today. Join in 2025 so you can take advantage of all the goodness in 2026. Frankly, try it for 2 months. Get the free ORaaT celebration in Vegas on February because it's the only place it will stream live. You're going to hear from folks like Jason Hartman and Pace Morby and Rob Abasola and many, many others. Try it out. See if it exceeds your expectation, and I think it will. Next up, we got the U.S. Director of Housing, Bill Pulte, saying, folks, we are hunting for mortgage fraud. Yes, according to Bill Pulte, they signed a deal with Palantir to actively seek out mortgage fraud. That should be interesting to find in 2026. Next up, folks, we've got big news. If you are a Three Amigos fan, Dion, let me get his book. This guy right here successfully navigated Audible, and now this book is on Audible. Go get it. I'll put a link in the description if you don't know where to get it. But yes, Audible, Dion's amazing book, and he narrated it himself. So you get to hear the sultry voice of Dion McNeely reading to you as you drift off into Neverland. So go get it. It would be a great Christmas gift or New Year's gift for anyone. So enjoy. Looks like the S&P 500 total return is going to be somewhere between 17 and 18%, which is on the back of 2024 at 25%, 2023 at 26%. We had another 3-year run of double-digit growth. In fact, if you go back to 2019, check out these returns in the S&P 500. 2019, 31%. 2020, 18%. 2021, 28%. We do hit a little bear bump in 2022 when Jerome Powell said there shall be pain. We had a negative 18%. Excuse me, negative 18. 2023 again, 26. 24 had 25%, and looks like 2025 will close out somewhere between 17 and 18%. We did get the Fed meeting minutes yesterday, and frankly, they did not disappoint. The Fed minutes, typically speaking, are just nothing. But this time, it really highlighted the disagreement. Again, if you remember the dot plot, there were 6 Fed presidents who did not want to cut. Only 2 actually dissented, which meant 4 relented and agreed to a cut. But there is plenty of disagreement in the Fed. And you can clearly see individuals focused on inflation or jobs. And this is where it gets interesting in 2026. In fact, on inflation, I've got good news. If the Fed wanted to, they could declare victory today. What am I talking about? If you go look up Trueflation is now reporting CPI at 1.99. 1.99. And just in case you need to check, that is below 2%. If you want to go deeper and look at PCE, it is actually reporting 1.84%. Now, again, Trueflation is interesting because they are taking up-to-date updates at all times and giving you what's actually happening versus the Fed, which uses outdated models, old data, and dare I say, inaccurate data. In fact, they are still reporting inflation on rent or shelter at 3.6% when it is actually negative. Hence, Trueflation is an up-to-date model. I don't know if you've seen this, but the mortgage spreads have been collapsing. It's how we're ending the year below 6.2%, near the year of the low of the year. Little unknown. I did not catch this. Shout out Ryan of Sacramento Appraisers for highlighting this. It looks like Freddie and Fannie are loading up on MBS, mortgage-backed securities, folks. Remember, one of my big questions for 2026 is, will the Fed buy MBS? That's how we got mortgage rates in the 3. The Fed was buying. Little did we know, mortgage-backed securities are being bought by Fannie and Freddie to the tune of $100 billion. Will Fannie and Freddie continue to buy and load up, driving rates down? 2026 will be interesting. U.S. consumers are bullish on the stock market, and frankly, why wouldn't they be? They're drunk on success. They've had 3 years in a row of double-digit growth. According to a survey, 52% of Americans expect higher stock prices in 2026. And then finally, we will close out with weekly unemployment claims. The weekly unemployment claims came in below 200K. Yes, folks, 199K, dramatically below the baseline of 220. And again, not pointing to any dramatic issues there. As always, folks, never forget that Steadily is the sponsor of the Daily Financial News. And I went back and checked of all the policies we sent them, Olivia and I, they saved us $5,000. $5,000 in 2025. And again, they have a couple of quotes on houses right now, which we will count as 2026. But yes, Steadily helped us save $5,000, better insurance, better rates, better coverage. Give them a shot. They don't always help, They help me about 60% of the time, which means they don't 40%, but at least I know what I'm getting. And with that, folks, the 2025 season of the Daily Financial News comes to an end. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. We didn't miss a day all year, even when traveling on boats and around the world. We made it happen. I hope to see you back next year. And next year starts on a Thursday, so it'll be 7 a.m. Take care. Have fun. Happy New Year.